has touched my family. And 32F is in violation of the basic foundational principle of the presumption of innocence in this state. And we're not going to stop until we get where we need to go with this bill. So you have my word on that. And I'm going to end by saying there is no voice stronger and more powerful than yours as you are talking to your own legislators, your own elected officials. So I see some scan to find who your reps are. You come talk to me. Rep Batista is here. He sponsors the bill in the House. We can help you set you up with who your elected officials are. And hearing from you is the single biggest lever that we have to get some momentum going on this bill. Hopefully get over the finish line. My gratitude to all of you for continuing to show up year after year after year, and we will not stop until we get there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm wearing a shirt, but this cheap one.
Keep motivating them, you know. I'm glad someone came. Hey.
I'm here because my mother died.
Okay, so.
Due to the 32F, she won't be able to get the 32F. So that's why I support this bill. Because I just feel like I can, help others. And, so I want this bill passed. I want it passed. By any means.
Inadequate medical treatment. And that is reflected in the lives that we lost in the past year. And the numbers continue to climb. I got a big gun over here. Rep Baptista, we need to support him in his efforts because he has a mountain to climb. But we're going to be there behind him.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
First and foremost, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for advocating. Thank you for telling us your stories. A lot of the outcome of the current 32F system, probation bail system, results in tragedies, crisis moments, individuals being ripped out of families and communities, young moms and young dads, and that all of you are survivors of that system and are willing to be here and stand up and retell your story. I thank you. Because the only way we're going to change the system is by confronting it, by acknowledging that something is broken, and it's hard not to acknowledge that something is broken when you've had a chance to meet with the community. There's a lot of things I can complain about in terms of being in elected office, but it's good news, that's not what we're here to do today. But I do think about, in all those moments that are difficult, I think about the moments in which I've been proudest as a representative. And those have been the late nights, Wednesday, Thursday nights, after session, after a day in court, where you're thinking about what you're gonna have to dinner, or maybe what type of Celtics are on, and you have a chance to join places like that and go around the table and listen to young people talk about their stories and their futures and their dreams and their hopes and how they have survived this tragedy, this interruption. That's what 32F does. That's what holding somebody without bail does. See, I grew up in South Providence, still live in South Providence. I have the honor of representing South Providence. And in order to have this conversation, I think it's important to be honest. And that sometimes means talking to people who we don't agree with, who have different experiences. And when I'm talking to legislators about this issue, whether it be my colleagues from my generation, from the inner city, or colleagues from other suburban parts of town, I tell them a few of the following things. I grew up in what I now know to be a socially conservative house. Even though I'm a young liberal today, my parents were immigrants, growing And for the majority of my youth, I felt the same way. That's the house that I was raised in, right? People who don't do things wrong don't go around getting arrested. And then I got to law school. And I got to intern for the public defender's office in Florida. And I started to see a pattern of these police reports. And the police report saying one thing, and me talking to my client and hearing something else. And I realized, in summary, how much power do the police actually have? We don't think about it because it doesn't affect us, but if the police say X, Y, and Z, that you put your hand in your pocket too fast, that you look suspicious, that you did anything other than say, yes sir, yes ma'am, that's cause for arrest. Now, I thank God, I've never been arrested. I can't stand here and tell you that I know what it's like. But I can tell you that I know how easy it is. In May of this year, I will be lucky enough to turn 10. Not 10 years old as a person, but 10 years old as an attorney. And the entirety of my 10 years have been dedicated to the practice and the improvement of the criminal justice system. I practice in our courts here in Rhode Island. When we speak about this issue, we're talking about it with experience, we're talking about it with facts, we're talking about it with the impact that it has on families. Holding someone without bail means that even if that person has $1 billion, hell, $1 trillion, did not get out of prison. That is a drastic remedy. That's not for everybody, much less someone who is simply accused of a new crime. You see, I'm empathetic with people. I understand. We are all human beings, we all make mistakes, we all have values and beliefs and prejudices. What I'm trying to communicate with people when we talk about discipline and passing this important legislation is that we have to confront ourselves. And when we learn that the United States of America, home of the free, the land of the brave, is the worldwide leader in incarceration, we have to ask ourselves why. It's not an accident whether we're doing it carelessly by neglect or intentionally by choice. We are leading the world in incarcerated people. And oh, by the way, a particular kind of people. Poor people. People who, more often than not, are from communities like mine, who have skin colors like mine. Don't get me wrong. As a public defender, I've represented brothers and sisters from all across the state. Barrington, Bristol, there's poor people in Barrington too. Woonsocket, Westerly, West Warwick, white people, black people, everywhere. That it falls unevenly, disproportionately on our shoulders is true. And so I leave you with a couple of thoughts and thinking that this is hard. Accomplishing change this important is hard. But when I was at law school, beginning to scratch the surface and understand how unfair the system can be, I had a moment. I had a moment where I said to myself, I used to wonder, what would it have been like to be a child of the 60s and to go to the sit-ins and the protests and the marches and to go, as John Lewis did, into a march knowing that you were right and your community was wronged, and that you were going to face violence. Think about that. You were right about the law, about what you deserve, about the Constitution. Your community has been wronged, and yet, in saying those two things, you're going to be met with violence. I used to ask myself, what would it have been like to walk into a diner, knowing I wasn't welcome, and to choose to do it anyway so that maybe one day I'll just go. We may no longer live those specific circumstances. Luckily, literal segregation is not the law anymore, but those metaphors still exist. Today, we're not walking into campus, we're walking into courtrooms. Courtrooms where it is an act of radicalism to stand up for a client. I'm not interested in putting the finger at individuals or labeling people good or bad or racist or not. I've met remarkable people who are judges and prosecutors. I've also met people who are not as well. The problem is not with either or. The problem is with the system, with the rules, with the words. And that's what this bill is going to do. It's going to sometimes some of the bills that some of the legislation we get the biggest activity for is for legislation that has to do with guns. Second Amendment. This building is full of people year after year protesting their rights, asserting their rights, and good for them for doing so. But what I ask a lot of those people, I'm not picking them, I'm going to give you an example of advocacy in some of the most popular place we have here. But when we're talking about those bills at that night and how important the Second Amendment is, I raise my hand and I ask, did you continue to read after the Second Amendment when you were reading the Constitution? I agree with you that the Second Amendment is immensely important, but there's a Fourth Amendment that protects us from being searched and seized. So when the government, aka the police, put their hands on your person, stop your car, search your car, touch your belongings without due process of law, that's wrong. That's just as wrong as what we're protesting for the other night. There's a Fifth Amendment that talks about due process. So when you're accused of a crime and incarcerated without actually breaking the elements, without meeting the elements, when your liberty is deprived, that's wrong. We have a Sixth Amendment that gives you the right to an attorney, the right to be legally informed before your liberty is taken away. None of these amendments are completely protected or preserved. In order for them to fill their full fruition, in order for them to come true, we need legislation like this one. So this literally is our civil rights battle today. And when each of you testify in this legislation, when each of you tell your stories, when each of you advocate for this with our colleagues upstairs, remember that these are our cities. These are our homes. When I went to Rogers Middle School, the entire graduation was filled with students with equipment. Doing the R's and the S's and the T's at graduation took up the whole time. Ramirez, Rodriguez, Sanchez, etc. But when I went to Roger Williams Law School, we've been Republican. Changing this bill will change that in a lot more. Thank you so much.
That was something. Also, I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Lucia, for encouraging me to speak. And I've been doing that, and it's getting better. So again, thank you.
Get started in speaking with our legislators. So, like Senator Coleman said, you can scan that QR code, you can find out who your legislator is, and then you can go into the green room for the senators, and you can go into the red room for the House of Representatives. And you find who it is that your representative is, and you speak to them about the importance of passing bail on 32. I'm going to be passing out these folders to each and every one of you. They all have a sticker on it. Take that sticker and put it on your shirt. It says, pass bail on 32. There's also going to be 2 stickers inside, and inside the folder. I want you to give these to your reps. Give them to your senators. As soon as they say, yes, we support it, you give them this sticker and tell them to put it on. On this side, you're going to find a little one-pager with all the info about the probation system in Rhode Island, and what it is, what happens when you get violated when you're on probation. And it also has a QR code for the NPR story about Carapona. And on the other side of the folder, you're going to find your reps, pictures of your reps and where they sit. So it'll be the pictures first, and then a seating chart next. Pictures first, and then a seating chart next. So you'll be able to find them. They should be easy enough. So I'm going to be standing right over here with all these folders. So as we go out and as we file into the red room and the green room, we can grab one of these. Make sure you wear those stickers. They're very important. And these folders are for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out.
Thank you. All right.